Slight interruption, sorry, AJ called and I didn't want to leave him hanging, so I thought I'd just make this part 2, where it's going to be a lot easier for wrestling fans, because I'm going to talk about Lethal Lockdown and Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray, and of course the ending of the show, as well as do the Celebrity Apprentice. So that's basically what we're going to do on this one. I'm trying to upload the first video while I'm shooting this, so probably going to upload them at the same time, because I have a feeling it's probably going to pause in the middle and not upload like it always does. So basically there's always that. Now we're going to get to Lethal Lockdown. Of course it was Team TNA, which was Captain Sting, Magnus, Showtime Eric Young, Cowboy James Storm, and Samoa Joe, taking on Aces and Eights, which is Captain Devon, Mr. Anderson, Doc, Knox, and Garrett Bischoff. So Magnus and Anderson are going to start this match off, and the next man in was Knox, depending on what you want to call him. He came out, and then Samoa Joe came out to even the odds. Garrett Bischoff came out to make the advantage to Aces and Eights once again, and then Showtime Eric Young brought it back to even once again. Devon came out surprisingly, second to last for Aces and Eights, and Cowboy James Storm was out to counteract him, and the final members of the team, were Doc for Aces and Eights and Captain Sting. So Sting comes out to the ring, and he has 2 trash cans full of weapons. And since we don't have a rooftop on the cage in the old school Lethal Lockdowns, where there were weapons and kendo sticks and chairs and trash cans, Sting brought down the trash cans himself. So basically Team TNA laid in Aces and Eights with cookie sheets, kendo sticks, trash cans, trash can lids, and other objects. Bischoff climbs the top rope, and Sting low blows him with the bat. The Team TNA assault continues with Joe throwing a trash can at Garrett. Sting throws it once again, and Sting hands him the other. Joe holds it against Bischoff, and Sting splashes the can, Stinger Splash, into the corner, while Magnus cracks Doc with a lead pipe, with Young using the bat on Devon. Sting puts the can over Mr. Anderson's head and hits the Stinger Splash again in the corner. This time Sting picks Mr. Anderson up, and Young goes to hit him with a baseball bat, but he moves out of the way. Young stops just short of hitting Sting and gets low blowed. Aces and Eights mount their comeback, weapons and all, and Anderson cracks Joe with a trash can lid while Young DDTs Knox. Doc chokeslams Young, and Storm slams the trash can into Doc's head. Magnus and Storm corner Bischoff, who tries to escape. They grab him off the top, but Devon and Anderson get under each man. And we have a 5-man Tower of Doom spot. Joe powerbombing all 5 men of the mat. Joe locks in the STF, and Anderson's about to tap. Knox breaks it up with a chair shot. So Knox goes to hit Sting with a chair, but Young hits him with the forearm. Sting drops Knox with Scorpion Death Drop. Young goes to the top, but Sting tells him to go all the way up top. And just like I predicted, Eric Young hits the top of the cage elbow drop to win the match for Team TNA. Wasn't the greatest Lethal Lockdown I've ever seen. It was basically done like you do a Battle Royal. A bunch of punching and kicking and chopping and weapon shots, and not really very many spots. Like I said, the 6-man Tower of Doom spot, and Young's predictable top of the cage elbow, and Team TNA, of course, beating the living daylights out of Aces and Eights with weapons. So until Sting entered, it was pretty much just paint by numbers, and the big spots did deliver. I agree with that, and it was really nice to see Eric Young get a rub. Eric Young and Magnus both get rubs in this match, and that's awesome because I have no problem with pushing Eric Young, not just as a comedy act, but actually as a contender, and I think he will be a contender somewhere down the road. Whether that's Devon's television title or the World Heavyweight Championship, anyone's guess, but still, I think it's going to happen somewhere down the road. Aces and Eights did need to win this match, and they lost cleanly and easily, so who knows what's going to happen with Aces and Eights for the rest of the night. So, Bully wakes his way to the ring, and this is our main event. Mike Tenay, of course, puts over Ray, being a wrestling historian, and the pep talk that Hulk gave him earlier, a lot better than I told you earlier. I mean, it was really good, actually. Jeff Hardy comes out. He is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He is wearing his belt and carrying the TNA World Heavyweight title. So, he's singing his theme song, as always, greeting the ringside crowd. And Hardy's had a really nice streak as champion. So Taz draws with Bully Ray at ringside, and JBN handles the ring introductions with Earl Hebner as the ref. Think about that. So, we had a great match. Actually, really enjoyable match, and we're going to get to the finish here. But, Bully stands over Hardy and directs right hands to the lower back of Hardy. He waits for him to get back up, and he slaps on a bear hug. Hardy elbows his way out, hits the ropes, runs right into a big back body drop. Bully goes for another cover, only gets a 2 count. Ray goes for the Vader bomb, and Hardy moves out of the way. Hardy goes for Twist of Fate. Ray ducks, goes for the Bully bomb. Hardy blocks it, hits Twist of Fate, and heads up to the top. But here comes Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff to scale the cage to attack Jeff Hardy. Ray drops them both with a double clothesline, putting him in the corner. Ray kneels down in poetry in motion via Jeff Hardy, and Ray tells Hardy to open the door, and they toss the Aces and Eights members out. Great bump for Garrett Bischoff. He literally went all the way, scaled all the way over the top rope, did a complete flip land on the rampway, which was awesome. It looked phenomenal. Wes tried to do the same thing, and he got caught on the ropes, and it looked rather awkward. And the landing seemed to be rather awkward as well. So Hardy and Bully Ray refocus on one another as the match restarts, in a sense. Ray and Hardy have a trading rights and lefts until Hardy finally wins the exchange. He reverses the Irish whip. Hardy takes him down with a flying forearm. He hits an inverted atomic drop and then a leg drop. You know, the leg drop between the legs. He likes to hit the double legs in the stomach, the lower stomach. And a basement drop kick only gets a 2 count. Hardy goes to exit the cage. Ray grabs his legs, races Hardy against the cage. Open hand slap, nice chop against the chest, and the sound echoes throughout the Alamodrome. Now Hardy fights back, gets a kick to the chest. Hardy falls to the mat, and Ray falls off the top onto the champion in a splash for a desperation kick out. So Hardy hits Twist of Fate, goes to escape the cage again. Ray grabs the foot, pulls him back in, and he hits a top rope sit-out powerbomb, sending both men to the canvas in hard fashion. I mean, literally, this move looked brutal in reality. So Ray slumps his arm over, 1, 2, and of course, kick out. Both men struggle to get back to the feet as Hulk Hogan and Brooke Hogan make their way to ringside. Uh-oh. I think I know where this is headed. Hogans are yelling encouragement to Ray throughout the cage. Aces and Eights come down to surround the ring with chains. They scale the cage. Devon has handed Bully Ray a hammer, and he uses this to nail Hardy right between the shoulder blades. Devon jumps down, they high-five, and Bully Ray covers for the 1, 2, 3. And yes, Bully Ray did turn, and he is now the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So basically, he held the belt up in the air with Aces and Eights celebrating. Brooke and Hogan got in his face, and Ray says they mean nothing to him. And she means nothing to him. He says, Hulk Hogan, I fooled you, and Brooke, I screwed you. So basically, the Hogans look like the fools in this case because Bully fooled everyone. And he basically challenges Hulk to do something, and the other Aces and Eights members mock him as Bully grabs the mic. And heel Bully Ray is the greatest thing in the world, by the way. Ray tells Devon to let that stupid bitch cry. His words, not mine. So Bully tells Hogan he used him and screwed him, just like I said earlier. The San Antonio crowd start throwing different kinds of debris and water bottles, beer cans, everything that they possibly could into the ring. Bully announces himself as the president of Aces and Eights, like everyone has been predicting all along, and the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So basically, this is Bully Ray's the fans can stick it speech. I guess that's what this reviewer said, and I totally agree with him. And basically, I think it worked really, really well. Bully is now the World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm very curious to see where we're going to go with Impact from now, because Aces and Eights lost clean at Lethal Lockdown. Wes Briscoe stole a victory thanks to D'Lo Brown over Kurt Angle. And Bully Ray turns and joins as the president. Okay. So, where do we go from here? So many questions to be answered this Thursday night at Impact, when we are live in Chicago for the first TNA Impact on the road since leaving the Impact Zone. So, interesting to see where we go from here. Yes, look at my finger. Yes, look at my finger as I hold this differently. Now, Lockdown, I enjoyed overall. It wasn't the greatest TNA pay-per-view, but it wasn't bad. I mean, there's a lot of good matches. A lot of questions still to be answered, and hopefully on Thursday we'll figure out what's going to go on as we get to our road to Slammiversary, coming up on June 2nd. So, that was Lockdown, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, then go back and watch a recap on the pay-per-view channels, whichever you want to do. And it was good. So, excuse me. Let's talk Celebrity Apprentice. Alright. So last week, basically, Donald Trump immediately fires Bret Michaels, straight up. First show, fires the only returning winner in the program's history to come back for the All-Stars. Now, if you really think about it, I don't know if I could really call this group All-Stars. I really don't know much about some of these people. I love some of the people that are back. I mean, I love the fact, obviously I love the fact that Penn is back. And I love the fact that Gary Busey's back, even though, because he's going to create chaos, as he always does, and give me some new Buseyisms to use in regular everyday life. Lil Jon's back. I mean, I don't understand some of these people. I don't know who some of these people are. I mean, it boggles my mind who said no to this, so obviously we came up with the cast we have. So, we'll get to that. So, next week, this is this week's Celebrity Apprentice, and right away, we see Brandy Roderick and LaToya Jackson return to the room. Brandy greeted with cheers. Apparently everyone was tired of Bret and the fact that he came back for the Celebrity Apprentice. You know, honestly, I understand why Bret came back. It was all about winning money for his charity, so I'm not going to fault the guy for coming back. But he did lose, so I mean, he's a winner, obviously, but he's also a loser, so there we go there. So, pretty much, Donald comes in and says the celebrities are going to get on a private plane to fly to Orlando, my home away from home. Actually, the place I really consider home, to receive their task at Universal Orlando Resort. So Trace will not be participating in this challenge because he has booked a cruise with Blake Shelton, some country show, whatever. So Trace, bye-bye for this episode. The teams are asked to pick their project managers. With so little information, Dee Snider steps up for Plan B, and Omarosa, of course, is going to take over for Team Power, like usual, to honor her late fiancé, Michael Clark Duncan. So she's playing for his charity, so. After a brief commercial for the Trump jet, which I agree with this, putting over the fact that Trump has a 757 and most places a 747, so they were waxing poetic about Trump's jet. Donald tells his All-Stars they will be creating a photo experience. They will be judged on creativity for their experience and communication of the brand messaging for Universal Orlando. Now, after this is done, we see Trace Adkins deliver his $600,000 plus check to the American Red Cross since he won the first challenge last week. So what this is going to be a 3D interactive photo experience, kind of like a backdrop people can step into and take pictures in. So the executive visit Power first and request they go out and take pictures of themselves with their guests, experiencing the resort firsthand. That's pretty much all. That's all they say. Omarosa says, well, Dennis Rodman has a question, and of course he doesn't. So he stumbles to come up with one, and he actually comes up with a really brilliant question about incorporating celebrities into the ad campaign. And their response, the characters are our stars, not celebrities. Okay. Obviously, Plan B didn't have that same effect. But speaking of Plan B, they ask what kind of pictures they're supposed to take. The executives are all about memorable experiences. Okay? Still no clue about what they're really doing. Power comes up with the idea to transition physically between 3 different experiences. And most of the team leaves Omarosa and Dennis Rodman in the room to go take pictures. Okay. So, still, no clear idea what this task is about. So, Team Power decides their experiences will be Harry Potter, Despicable Me, and to be announced. Don't know exactly what the third one's going to be. So, at Plan B, Dee Snider comes up with this idea to have the celebrities be the driven force behind this experience. He wants 6 cutouts of the celebrities so people can pose with them. Yeah, it's not the greatest idea. So Penn does suggest his photo experience rely on illusions that don't look so photoshoppy, like using floating heads, kind of like, I don't know, maybe the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter, and the fact Penn's dressed as a wizard, and make it fully intensive for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but they didn't do that. And we'll find out very soon. So the fabricators for this challenge are fake productions, actually, so that's pretty awesome, and it's nice to see fake actually used in... Well, I can actually see what they're doing, other than the fact that I've just heard of what they've done before. And they're the ones who worked on Penn and Teller Nuked Las Vegas at Halloween Horror Nights last year. Once again, if you want to know about my opinions on what happened on my birthday, my horror story, go back and watch that YouTube video. I put a lot into it. It's got a lot of heart in it and a lot of truth. Full truth. So Penn's right at home with this challenge, and you know he should really be the project manager, but it doesn't matter because Dee was selected, so Penn, of course, backs down because he doesn't want to challenge authority. That has come back to haunt him in the past, where last year he was fired basically because his concept was too arrogant, and pretty much this time he doesn't want to step on any toes. Obviously, he doesn't want to get thrown under the bus again, so he backs down to Dee. And Stephen Baldwin talks about how he's completely worried about the time management skills. So Power goes out to take pictures and buy what's known as decorations for the photo experience. So basically they're in Universal gift shops and looking to buy various tchotchkes to dress up their experience. Okay. Penn's idea, officially, in this case, before he backed down, was revealed to be floating heads. He's giving art direction to the fabricators. Now, the rest of the team says they need to go take photographs because, you know, that's what they have to do for this. They have to take photos. So Gary Busey, in his infinite wisdom, says he can take pictures, and he tries to figure out how to use a digital camera. Okay, that was a fail. Omarosa tells the fabricators that they have brilliant, innovative ideas. Okay? He then tells them, furthermore, that there's a vague outline for the two ideas. The fabricators look on kind of confused, to be totally honest. Omarosa decides, perhaps on the fly, the middle experience will be Spider-Man with the iconic Universal Globe. So, Fake says, you want a three-dimensional figure out of... And it's totally clear, though, Omarosa could give less than a damn about any of these people, honestly, because she treats them like utter trash. It's quite ridiculous, to be totally honest. Out in the park, the celebrities are fighting over who gets to take pictures with the minions for Despicable Me. There's kind of like a warfare there, and they both kind of feud with the... It's really kind of quite humorous, to be totally honest. So, all the park visitors are enjoying this whole spectacle, and they take pictures of all the celebrities with their phones. Of course, Gary tells us our first Buseyism that we hear of the show, fun. Finally understanding nothing. Yes, very true, especially with this task. So Power discovers that Omarosa has chosen Spider-Man as their centerpiece, but since they didn't know that, they didn't get any Spider-Man stuff. So basically, this is when it would have been a great idea to have a phone person, somebody that you could call from the team and say, well, Dennis calls one of the team members and says, you know, Omarosa needs this. I mean, we're going to talk about Spider-Man, so go to the Universal Studios store, get all the Spider-Man stuff you can, go to Marvel Superhero Island and get a bunch of Spider-Man stuff. But they didn't do that. So they're going to have to kill some more time actually going back and doing just that. But no one trusts Omarosa for obvious reasons, and Omarosa doesn't care about them or the construction crew. So back from the park, Dee and all of his, and Plan B, including a very sweaty Gary Busey, they have clearer heads have prevailed, and they've got a lot more novelty hats. Of course, Gary's still not letting go of the cat in the hat, and of course Penn is wearing the sorting hat, which is absolutely brilliant. So Dee opts to nix the magic floating heads idea to go with celebrity, okay? He wants to print 6 cutout pictures, ginormous, fully functional cutouts, using celebrities so people can pose in front of them. Okay, I don't really understand. But like I said before, honestly, when it comes down to it, if I had the opportunity in September or December to take a picture of a wizard-dressed Penn Jillette and myself, considering it's probably the only way I'm ever going to get a picture with him at this point, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So that has no validity, to be totally honest. It's still not the greatest idea, though. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to use it, but I gave it away. Penn's not really a big fan of these ideas. He doesn't really imagine people will be dying to post with celebrity cutouts. dressed as the Universal characters, but he's not the PM, so it doesn't matter what he thinks in this case, in his own opinion. So Omarosa sees 3 tiny photo spaces coming together, and it fills her with so much confidence she decides to treat the fabricators like garbage once again. She's screwing with fake again once more. So they tell her, as they did from the beginning, there isn't a feasible way to make Spider-Man 3D. Omarosa's about ready to take these guys' heads off, until she realizes that she can't, because that's a good way to get fired. Brandy says, you just don't treat people that way. And it makes sense, because basically she was the voice of reason there. So Plan B is still working on how the actual backdrops are going to look like in the long run. Stephen Baldwin says he really likes the simplicity of the cutouts, but Dee takes it as a manipulative, self-protecting affront. Basically because he was whispering. Okay, so basically because he was doing this, Stephen Baldwin was doing this. Dee took him as shady and not able to be trusted. But we'll come back to that later. So Power arrives at their photo experience, which is moved outside. It's unfinished. It's in the IOA portion of the parks. And the globe at the top is just a big white half circle. Lil Jon notes it looks terrible. Yeah, it does, really. Half of the team has to go to the store to get more Spider-Man stuff. Hence, like I said, the time management from earlier. Which, of course, they didn't get before. And the fabricators arrive to finish the globe. Omarosa hangs the name of the resort behind the photo strips. The photo strips look amazing, by the way, because it actually looks like something Universal would do. But the fact that it says Orlando. This isn't Universal Japan. This isn't Universal Singapore. This isn't Universal Hollywood. It says Universal. And that's it. Because Orlando is covered by the photo strips. Now, here's the thing. Given the fact that Spider-Man isn't in Hollywood, Despicable Me opens next year, and Harry Potter has just barely broken ground, we know it's obviously Orlando, but it doesn't say that. And for brand messaging, it has to say Universal Orlando. That's how it works. It's Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, the Universal Orlando Resort. And that's how it works. It's not Universal Studios Florida anymore. It's not just Islands of Adventure anymore. It's literally the Universal Orlando Resort. Which, of course, is Hard Rock Hotel and Royal Pacific, Portofino Bay, and soon Cabana Beach. So, is it Cabana Bay? I believe it's Cabana Bay or Beach. Let me see. We checked real quick. Universal. Give me a second. I'm gonna look down for a minute. Cabana. Yay, Cabana Bay. I was right. Awesome. Good times. Now, so you have 3 resorts, you have both theme parks, you have City Walk, and obviously that is Universal Orlando Resort. It's not just Universal. That's it. It says Universal. So that was a mistake right there. So, basically, Spider-Man is only partially 3D, and it really doesn't... It looks terrible, to be totally honest. But fortunately for Power, Plan B's experience looks pretty bad, honestly. It's just cutouts and a big blue background with a tiny, tiny, tiny logo in the middle and a slogan. And that's it. Period. That's it. So, Dee thinks it looks amazing. That's interesting. It doesn't. So, Penn notes it's surreal to be standing in front of cardboard cutouts of the same exact live people in the same exact outfits. He questions this logic with Lisa Rinna, and Lisa goes, well, I don't know that there is any. No, there really isn't. So Power starts throwing stuff from the Universal gift shop into 3 tiny areas. And there's way too many Spider-Men in the center area, so the logo is obstructed. And basically, Omarosa decides there's way too much stuff in Spider-Man, which of course is LaToya's booth. And pretty much, she gets rid of it. LaToya and Brandy are both wounded as they stuff all the Spider-Man stuff from the gift shop back into the bags, which God knows how much they spent on it, because I know how much that stuff is. Brandy thought it'd be fun for people to go in the booth and touch the jelly Spider-Man. You know, just touching stuff for fun. Okay. So over at Plan B, things are getting really bad. Celebrities are taking pictures of guests standing next to cutouts of them. The glare of the sun reflects on the cutout doesn't seem fun or logical. You know, you go to Universal with hopes of seeing and experiencing real celebrities, not just cutouts of them. Okay, I agree with that. That's true. No one wants to say, this is a picture of me standing next to a Mary Lou Henner cutout, taken by Mary Lou Henner. Yeah, that's a good point. Plan B did come up with the slogan, like I was mentioning, family fun that lasts forever. And that's actually the right slogan to use, because it fits really well with the marketing campaign for 2013. So Gary starts taking pictures away, or just in front of the photo experience. Then Mary Lou tells someone, basically, that she has a gift, a disorder that basically lets her know what the day is on any date in history. So she basically starts asking people their birthdays, and it's kind of annoying, to be totally honest. So the awesome Don Jr. and the creepy Eric Trump show up. Of course, they are the ones in charge of trying to figure out what the hell is going on at this point. And they visit Plan B first. They don't seem impressed. And over at Team Power, the families are trying to fit into spaces just about 3 feet wide, so that doesn't make any sense. And add to chaos, confusion, and space problems, there's a celebrity needs section asking people to carry and wear stuff from the gift shop. And the Universal execs go into Plan B's photo experience. Gary pounces on them immediately with, "I'm the cat in the hat and I love you." Yes, Gary Busey is freaking crazy. Legit. So they nod and they smile and they're like, "Get Gary Busey away from me. I have mace." But the thing is, all the celebrities get up and they take a picture with the executives in front of the cardboard cutouts. There's no one else around, so I don't know how they found someone to take the picture, but they did. So at Team Power, the executives do arrive to a long line of people waiting to go through the photo experience to see what celebrities await them in each cupboard. They play along, even though one executive didn't really want to be Slytherin. I can totally understand that. But it's fun to be a heel, it really is. In the boardroom, though, when we finally get back, Dee tells Donald Trump he's very proud of his team and that everyone listened because it's what he knew how to make them do. Mary Lou disagrees, of course, notes Gary is an extreme distraction. Gary, of course, will disagree with this and says everyone did their best. Penn says he would fire Dee as the project manager, and the rest of the team agrees. Penn Jillette, the most honest man in the history of reality television. Now, talking to Omarosa, who is rather confident, it becomes clear Dennis Rodman will be her next target. She handles Trump's questions so effectively, though, she won't have to throw anyone under the bus yet. Now, Brandy contends that she likes a more light and fun managerial style, which seemed to almost get her fired in the last task. Now, they talk about Omarosa as a project manager, and they all agree she's tough and mean and horrid, but probably relatively effective. She's stern but fair. I believe Chris Pontius said this on Jackass. She's stern but fair. The teams all look at each other's experiences and determine celebrities are all awful coming up with effective, fun photo experiences. Very true. Don Jr. says while the executives like the brand messaging from Plan B, fun would be lost once the celebrities left because people were more interested in taking pictures with them and not their exact cutouts, interacting with the photo experience. Omarosa's team, of course, docked for covering up the Orlando resort, just like I said they would, with the film strip, but everything else was good. The teams argue had the best experience, and basically Dee is holding on to the use of celebrity, of course, because in his season, basically, he was told in a time and a task that they did not fully utilize celebrity, so he took that to heart and he utilized celebrity a whole lot more than he should have in this task. So Donald starts talking about his hair, and he's trying to get everybody to mark out for his hair and everything. So Dennis Rodman, in his infinite wisdom, just says, "Can we just know who won already?" So, after a lot of back and forth, Trump basically says, "Dee, congratulations. You lost." So, nice little fake out there. So Omarosa bursts into most likely fake tears on behalf of her late fiancé, Michael Clark Duncan. Not to say that Michael Clark Duncan's charity, the Sue Duncan charity, is not a good charity. Obviously it is, and I was a big fan of Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, the Slammin' Salmon line basically is something I still use to this day. It's probably a movie that most people didn't even realize he was in. You know, Broken Lizard's movie that's not Club Dread, Beer Fest, or Super Troopers. So, the movie that no one saw, that never really got a theatrical release that I know of. If it did, it was a very short one. But still, I love that line. But they seem kind of like crocodile tears, honestly. Kind of like she was put on a front. And that's a sad thing if that's the case. Because that is, Omarosa is the worst human being in the world. And she deserves to be fired today. So basically, that's pretty much what we're looking at. But I think she'll probably get fired. Actually, I know she's going to get fired anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But how do I know? I don't really, but she's going to get fired, trust me. She will get fired. It will happen. And it's going to be glorious when it finally does. So, 40 grand going to Michael Clark Duncan's memory via the Sue Duncan charity. 20 grand from Trump and 20 grand from Universal, so that works really well. So Power goes into their suite, and basically LaToya suggests Omarosa should get some tissues. And basically, in the boardroom, Penn defends his ideas, the ones that never happened, the ones that actually would have worked. And Trump marks out for him and says, they would have been great. So Dee says everyone else is intimidated by the magnitude of Penn's ideas. Penn offers he was supportive as possible and backed down the instant that Dee made his decision. He's good. So Donald basically says you should have. The music's pounding, by the way, so obviously this is really good. It's good false. So I blew the spot there, but still, it's a really good false finish right here because Donald just looks at Penn and is like, "Ben, you're fired." And I was like, "Oh my God!" I said a lot worse than that, but I'm not gonna say it on the YouTube channel. But oh my God! And then of course he's just like, I'm kidding. So I was like, okay, almost had a heart attack after midnight this morning. So thankfully I did not, because Penn did not get fired. So Trump reveals it was all work, and Penn was like, I was already out to the elevator. And I was like, that's hilarious. So Dee identifies Gary as his weakest team member, and everyone else argues against this factor. So Omarosa says Dee is going after the wrong person. He should be going after Stephen Baldwin. And Dee says the two people he would bring back may not be quite the reflection on this personal task. And he identifies Stephen Baldwin as untrustworthy, a fly in the ointment. Because obviously of the whispering earlier, he was whispering, oh, this is a great idea. But he wouldn't say it out loud. So that's basically why he's untrustworthy. And he's a man of God, he's untrustworthy. So those two things don't really go together. And no kudos to Dee Snider on bringing Stephen Baldwin back, because it was the bad idea. I'm glad they didn't bring Penn back, but I don't think they would have, due to the fact that Penn's idea would have actually won. But in Dee's infinite wisdom, he also brings back Gary Busey, which he said himself that he was the star of the team, and he still brings him back. So Dee is quickly criticized for the guest experience that he didn't provide, and he honestly admits that he saw what happened last season, people not getting fired for playing Donald's games. Obviously, the factor when Adam Carolla got fired, and basically it led to Michael Andretti getting fired. So he didn't want that to happen again. So basically, that's exactly why he brought these two back. So pretty much Donald says outright he does not want to fire Dee Snider, but has no reason to fire Gary Busey due to the fact that he was so useful in these last two tasks. Even though he's crazy, he's still a great kind of crazy, and if it can be harnessed, he can be utilized to the fullest of his capabilities, and he's a very important asset to Plan B. And obviously you can't fire Stephen Baldwin because he really didn't do enough to get fired. So Trump has to do it, and he fires him. He fires Dee Snider right off the top. So Gary and Stephen don't really have to say anything. They close the elevator doors on Dee Snider, and it's over. Dee Snider is the second man that is eliminated. So we talked lockdown. We talked Celebrity Apprentice. I'm still holding true to the fact Penn Jillette is going to win Celebrity Apprentice, and deservedly so this year. I say it's Penn and Trace in the finals, and I may change my opinion as we go on. I probably won't, because obviously I'm a huge Penn Jillette fan, as you well know. And when it comes down to it, I think Penn's the smartest guy in the competition, and I think he can win. I know he can win. He will win. So I'm going to get off here. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to talk Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. And Tuesday, we are going to discuss, that's what we're going to do Tuesday. And of course, Tuesday night, we're going to go back to B-Dubs. Wednesday, we're going to watch Oz again, because Mom wants to watch Oz, so I'm down with that. Me and AJ are going to watch Oz with Mom, once again in the 3D format, and then B-Dubs that night. Thursday is B-Dubs again. Don't know what's going on for Wednesday's show yet. Thursday, don't know what's going on for Thursday's show yet. Of course, Friday, we're going to talk TNA Impact. And that's pretty much the end of this for right now. And of course, Monday morning we'll talk Celebrity Apprentice, and we'll figure out more stuff coming to the channel somewhere in the near future. I've got some things in mind, folks. They're going to be rather fun, trust me. And 4 big reviews coming this Sunday for AJ's Weekend Movie Reviews. So keep waiting for that. So, thank you guys for watching, and once again, if you like this channel, subscribe, tell your friends to do just the same. I got 14 awesome people that have subscribed, and always looking for more people to view these videos, and if they like these videos, stay tuned and watch my awesome world. Whether we're here in this house, I'm talking Apprentice, I'm talking wrestling, I'm talking Disney, I'm actually at Disney, I'm at Universal, I'm at SeaWorld. Who knows where I'm going to be, but honestly, we're going to have a good time, trust me. And by the way, real quick, shout out to Spotify. Spotify is awesome, and I love Spotify, and I've been dealing with the last 2 days, so it's been great. So, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I'm going to have me a little bit of a snack and get ready for Raw in about 4 hours. So, until tomorrow, that's all I got to say about that.